Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to be pruning up my Ficus root over temple planting. This is a medium leaf Ficus benjamina. Here is a look at the tree. So there's several problems going on with the tree. One is that all the branches are growing very tall and vertical. So my canopy is getting quite high and I'm starting to lose all the branching down low. That's getting shaded out and all the growth is going vertical. So today I'm going to prune back the canopy, making it shorter and doing some branch selection. One of the major issues I had with the tree was this branch comes out and divides into two, and they both kind of go vertical parallel to each other. I couldn't decide which one to prune off last time. I'd like to remove, either this one or this one. It's a tough decision, and today I think I've got to make that decision. I've got to correct this kind of major flaw in the structure of the tree. My main leader here is also not very thick. That could be thickened up, so I may want to leave the shoots on this branch to grow tall and vigorous, thickening up this part of the trunk. The trunk line isn't the most attractive. You can see it kind of goes a bit thick here. And that's because long ago a major branch died off at the back. And there's scar tissue rolling around it, the wound. So it's healing really nicely, but it's not the most smooth flowing trunk in the world. However, I'll just keep working on the tree and maybe someday it'll improve. It's not a major flaw, but it's certainly not attractive the way it thickens up a bit here. I've also got a major scar here that's not very attractive. My trunk line isn't the most flowing on this tree. It's something I'll continue to work at. I do like this one branch off here. It's looking really good. So I think I'll try and make this branch match it by taking off, as I said, one of these two vertical ones. I'm going to start the pruning of the tree now. So I'll start with this branch line. So the problem is I have these two parallel branches going upwards. And, it's more of a horizontal branch. I don't mind if part of it goes vertical, but I don't want the two. I like this horizontal branch coming off here. If I got rid of the middle one, I'm going to take quite a chunk out of the canopy here. If I take out this one, well, I don't think that would be so bad. Towards the outside of your canopy, you want your branches fanning outwards, more horizontal. And in the middle of the canopy, you want them more vertical. So the logical one would be to remove this trunk line here. So I think I better do that. It's the kind of cut, if I took this one off and kept this one, you could go either way, and I think eventually the tree would look good. But I'm going to take this one off. So here I go, a big cut coming up. Click, click, done. So there's the branch off. Let's see how it looks now. I think it looks better. I really do. Now on this trunk line here, I have a good chance for taper if I remove this back one. So this one is coming forward, which is nice. It fills out the canopy. This one's just going vertical up here, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to take this one off also, keeping my flowing branch out the front. So here I go, another big cut coming up. Come in here, and here I go. So that one is now gone. So two big cuts to start off the video. And I think it looks better. I think it's kind of opened up the canopy a bit. definitely better. Now I'm going to prune up this horizontal branch here. So I'll prune this one back to a branch or a bud that's facing outwards, taking off the vertical section. I think this part of the branch is getting quite vertical, and I have a chance back here with a more horizontal one. So I'm going to take the entire vertical section off. Here I go, big cut, like that. And you can see the branch is much more horizontal now. On this branch, I have a vertical section. I think I'm going to take that off too, just to give more space between the branches here. Mosquito flying around there. Okay, so that's really changed the appearance of the tree. Let's go to this branch now. So it comes off of here. It's kind of divides very early, this branch, and it's also sweeping upwards. So I need to prune it back to some more horizontal branches or buds. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to take this one off here. This one, I've got a leaf here, so I can take it off here. And then the vertical one I can remove entirely, like that. So that kind of flattens this part of the branch out. Now it divides, and there's one out the back here. I'm also looking for more horizontal branching. I have some here. So I can take the entire top off here. So here I go. It comes off, and there's a branch growing to the inside here. I'm going to remove that so all the branches are fanning outwards. Yeah, so that's got that branch much more compact and less vertical looking. So now I'm looking at this trunk line. As I said, it's getting too tall, and this one's very kind of straight and vertical. It would be nice to redirect it, and I have a branch here. It's fairly weak, but it's a branch that fans out. I have another one parallel to it up higher, but that's getting quite tall and vertical. So I could take this right back to here, and I think I should. And by taking, this entire top off this branch, all the vigor that goes up here will generate all kinds of new shoots below the cut point. So it'll allow me to get my canopy down lower. It'll get rid of this, reduce this tall vertical section. And this one, it's fanning out, it's growing over top of this branch, but eventually I can redirect it more out the front. So I think that's the solution. Take it off right here. So here I go, big cut coming up. Done. Big changes for the tree today. But these kind of changes you want to do kind of in the middle of summer when the tree is really vigorous, so you get all kinds of back budding then. Okay, so let's keep looking at the design. So I wanted this trunk line. It's the most flowing trunk line to thicken up. I don't necessarily want it, eventually that tall. I want to reduce it back. I've got some good shoots here. But I think I better let it grow and thicken up. It'll help me, this transition here. It's very awkward in this. The trunk kind of comes forward, and then this branch grows back in towards the tree. It's not a very good looking branch. The possibility is to take off the top and keep this one coming out the front, but for now I've got to thicken up this transition, smooth it out, and make it look better. So I won't touch this branch. So let's go around to this one now. There's a vertical shoot here I can remove, like that. There's a stub here I can take off. There's another vertical one here I can remove. And I could take the tip off it. Kind of reducing that back a bit. Here, I've already got 2 branches kind of growing at this junction. I don't need a third, so I'll take this little one off. I don't want to develop that. This branch here, it kind of comes out horizontal and sweeps upwards. I'm looking to reduce it, and there's a nice kind of flowing branch here. There's some up here, but they're getting too high, so I'm going to take it off right here. So here I go. Big cut coming up. Taking that whole top off. Oh my goodness. And then off of this branch, this one doesn't flow very well, but it's better than anything else I had. So I'm going to try and redirect it a bit, keeping it horizontal. So I'm going to take the top off here, like that. This branch behind it, I'll take this vertical part off and I'll reduce it back. It's getting a little long. This one's getting a little long. I'll take it back also. And this one too. Off of this branch I have a vertical section. I'll take that off. It's kind of a weak branch, but now maybe it'll get more light and develop better. There's one sweeping up here. I'll take the vertical part off it. Like that. There's a vertical leader to that branch I can take off. Like that. This branch can be reduced back. This one also. Okay, let's keep rotating around. So there's a branch here that's getting quite long. I'll take some of the vertical shoots off it. This one's going quite vertical. I'll prune it off to a more horizontal branch, taking the tip off. There's one growing to the inside I'll take out. I'll reduce this one back. Now, if I swing around here, there's some branches interfering with each other here. So I think I'll take off this vertical section here, taking that off. This vertical section can come off. Reduce these back. Reduce this one back. This one may have to come back further. This one's getting very vertical. I'll take that off. This branch is growing towards the inside. I can take that out. Oh my goodness, big changes for the tree today. Let's go back to the front view and see what I'm doing here. There's the front view. Oh, it's still looking okay. It's more spreading looking and definitely shorter. So this back branch sweeps up vertical, and I've got to remove that. I think it divides into 2 here, and the one is right vertical and the other one fans out better, so I'm going to take off the vertical section. Big cut. Taking that off. And then I could even take this one back further. I have a horizontal branch here. I think I will. Let's, keep cutting this tree down. Like that. That'll develop a good looking branch there. It'll also give room for this, all these branches to develop the crown here off of this vertical section. Now, this branch, I said I wasn't going to touch, you know, the vertical leader here, but this branch is growing right over top of the lower one, so I'm going to have to shorten it back. It's quite vigorous too. And I may come back, I'll stand back and have a look at the tree after this pruning, and I may decide to reduce some branches back further. It's by no means done. Okay, so this is getting better. I think this branch, it doesn't flow, it goes across the trunk. It's 90 degrees to the radial direction, so it's coming off. It looked awkward in the front view. And I'm wondering about this branch. I have a short, weak horizontal branch here, and this part is getting quite long, and it doesn't have a lot of taper. I could cut it back. I think it would match all the rest of the more horizontal branches. I think I better do that. Big cut. So here I go. Taking that off. You know, keeping this tree, the basic structure, low and spreading is the goal. This branch, well, I can reduce it back to a downwards facing bud. And I think I can take this whole top off here. It's quite straight in this section without much taper or movement. This one I'm going to reduce back, redirect it out the back. There's a leaf facing out the back here. And here, I'll definitely take it back, and maybe that may get removed, I'm not sure. I think so. I think I'm going to remove this one. Keep the nice interesting branch up here. This one's very straight. I better reduce it back. Okay, now, so I think this branch, I've got a weeping part here, and this part of it's very straight. So I'm going to take the tip off there, keeping these kind of weeping branches. Up the back here I have a vertical one I can take off. Another vertical one here. And I'll reduce the tip back. And maybe even take this branch back further. It's kind of straight without much taper or movement. Let me see where I can reduce that back to. I think back to here. I'll take the tip off here. Take the tip off here. It's got that branch all pruned up. And this one needs to be reduced. Back to here. Yeah, the rest is all attached to this main trunk. Everything's low and spreading except for this main trunk. I think that's okay. There is one thing I worry about. Because I've reduced all these lower branches back and I haven't touched this one, it's possible all the growth will go into here and these branches will just, you know, stay weak because the tree will just, this is where all the foliage is and it's vertical, very vigorous. So I'm wondering if I should reduce it back today. I think because this is vertical and all these branches have light, I could reduce it back. You know, I want to develop this branch spreading out. Maybe this one and this one. But other than that, I don't want the top of the tree. I'm going to take it off. You know, I could, if I let it grow, it would definitely thicken up, but I think it'll thicken up anyway because it's vertical. So I'm going to take it off, and I don't want, generally when you do hard pruning, you do all the branches at once. Otherwise, if you leave a branch like this, as I said, all the energy goes into that branch, and these ones can get weak and possibly die off. So I'm going to do a big cut here. Here I go. That's done. Top came off the tree. And then I better get this one is going a strange direction. That's better come off. And I'll reduce this back. Well, that's certainly reduced the tree back. I'm going to take this one back even further. And this one. And this one. Like that. I think that's it. There's that mosquito. I think that's it. I think the basic structure is looking quite nice now. It's definitely improved it. More ficus-like. Got rid of all that tall vertical parts. It's more spreading. And I think because I hard pruned it, I'm going to get a ton of new shoots coming out on here. It'll fill in really compact by the end of summer. I think it'll look quite amazing, is my prediction. We'll see. Here is what I took off the tree today. An unbelievable amount. It's quite shocking, in fact. But I am really happy with the core structure of the tree. I think the core structure improved 100%. It's yeah, it's got a nice spreading canopy. It's when that fills out, it's going to look really good. All my primary branches have good taper and movement. The direction's pretty good on a lot of them. There's more to improve in the future, but it certainly, I think, came a long way today. I didn't see any scale insects on the tree, but I'm going to give it a spray with soap and water. A preventative spray, just to make sure there's no scale insects developing or anything. So here I go. Okay, I'll let that sit for a bit and then rinse it off. Okay, it's time to rinse the tree off. Give it a good watering. With Clip and Grow Bonsai, I let the tree grow. I definitely clipped it back, and now it's time for the tree to grow once again. Let's have a look at the tree. I'll rotate it around 360 degrees, and we'll have a look at the structure. Okay, so this was the current front of the tree. So I'll rotate it around, coming around to the right-hand side, coming around to the back of the tree, coming around to the left-hand side, and back to the front. I'm here at a graveyard, and I used to pass these trees on my way to work 20 years ago, and they were quite nice looking back then. And I passed by them again, and they've grown into really spectacular trees. They're planted trees along this row here, and they're all Thuja occidentalis. And there's a couple of varieties. Some are the kind of native white cedars, and the other ones are the green, emerald green cedars. And the trunks have really matured on them. They're really inspirational. So I'll show you some close-ups of them. So you can see the mature bark, how it's formed on the trees. Goes all the way up into the branch structure. Yeah, for small trees, they're really spectacular. There's all kinds of examples too. There's like these multi-trunk ones that divide very close to the ground. I imagine these trees were planted sort of as a hedgerow originally, and they've just grown up into, you know, fairly big trees. The tops have never been pruned on these trees, so they're just being allowed to grow. But they have pruned the bottoms, exposing the trunks. I remember one year I came by and they were all pruned kind of to my height, all the lower branches removed. And you can still see the scars where the lower branches were removed, but they've healed over and are kind of blending in and that gives the tree character. But really, you know, cool bark on them. You can see how they sucker out from the old wood here. And even the branches are looking really old on them. Yeah, very inspirational for bonsai. So these ones here are the sort of native eastern white cedars with the looser, kind of coarser foliage. And then if I come down here, you can see the emerald green ones. And they tend to grow more upright, columnar. You can see how they point towards the sky in a tight cluster. And these ones are more of a spreading tree, kind of creating more of a, you know, an umbrella-shaped canopy. But the foliage on these emerald green cedars is really tight and compact. It's really quite beautiful. And they get the old looking trunks too. Lots of character on them. Here's another emerald green cedar tree. Quite a wide trunk on it. Lots of character. Multi-trunk, tight foliage. And yeah, very upright growth characteristics. But just beautiful trees, and I thought I'd show you them because they sure inspire me to grow Thujas as bonsai. Yeah, really spectacular. Maybe if I live long enough, I can come by in another 20 years and have a look at them. See what they look like. Yeah, sure inspires me. I just love these trees. They're just beautiful. This one has some nice low branches. So yeah, you know, this teaches me don't be in a hurry to cut off all the lower branches on your tree. Kind of develop this multi-trunk style is pretty cool looking. This one has a really thick trunk on it. It looks like it's, you know, several trees fused together maybe. Or it's just growing strong upright trunks. And they've kind of merged together. Quite something. Love these lower branches on it. Yeah, you know, not a traditional bonsai style, but definitely inspiring. Yeah, it's nice when you get a row of trees like this, you can look at each one separately. They all have their own personality and characteristics. Each one's different. Very cool. Okay, back in the cube and I'll head home. It is definitely ficus weather today. We have another warm spell coming. So the tree has excellent conditions for growth and recovery from this pruning operation. I'm very, very happy with the tree. As I said, I think it took a big step forward today. So that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.